Friends, seekers of health and clarity, imagine waking one morning feeling not just rested, but vibrant, eager, full of purpose. Yet day after day, energy slips away, your body whispers, bones ache, hair thins, moods darken. What if all this has a single, silent origin, a deficiency, invisible but profound, vitamin D? Today we dive deep, not to alarm, but to awaken. I'll share 4 critical signs your body may be calling out beyond fatigue alone. By the end, you'll know how to listen, understand, and act. Not tomorrow, but starting now. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and express your opinion in the comments section. Let's get to the topic. Let's start in a place many of us know all too well. The unrelenting drain, the fog that no amount of sleep seems to fix. You wake up, maybe you hit the snooze button, 1, 2, even 3 times, and still the weight in your body feels heavier than the day before. Coffee gives you a temporary lift, but it crashes quickly. By midday, your body protests at every turn. You think, maybe I'm just aging, maybe stress has caught up with me, maybe I didn't sleep well enough. But sometimes the reason goes deeper, and it's not just about sleep or stress. It's about a silent nutrient deficiency that most of us overlook, yet it influences every single cell in our body: vitamin D. What's fascinating about this is how subtle the signs can be. Fatigue, that doesn't go away with rest, isn't simply tiredness, it's your body's way of signaling that something fundamental is missing. Vitamin D isn't just a vitamin, it functions more like a hormone. It activates genes that help your mitochondria, the energy factories inside each cell, convert food into usable fuel. Without enough of it, you might eat the right foods, you might exercise, you might rest, but the spark that drives energy production just doesn't ignite the same way. That's why people with vitamin D deficiency often describe their days as dragging, their bodies as heavy, and their minds as cloudy. And here's where it gets interesting. This isn't only about physical energy. Energy is also mental clarity, emotional drive, and even the will to take action. When vitamin D is low, it doesn't just show up in how long you can walk or how easily you can climb stairs. It shows up in your ability to focus, to feel motivated, to carry enthusiasm for the things that used to excite you. What feels like burnout or laziness may in fact be biology asking for help. Now think about the modern lifestyle. Many of us spend hours indoors, working, studying, scrolling through screens. The very natural source of vitamin D, sunlight on our skin, is something fewer and fewer people get in the right amounts. Add to that sunscreens, long winters, or simply genetics, and the risk rises even more. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness, because when we know the cause, we can begin to fix it. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and opening your eyes to the morning light, but instead of dragging yourself out of bed, your body feels light, ready, eager. You stand tall, stretch, and there's no fog, no invisible weight holding you back. That eagerness, that zest, isn't because life suddenly became problem-free. It's because your biology is supported, your cells are powered, and your energy is flowing again. This isn't wishful thinking. Studies from endocrinology centers and universities across the world repeatedly show that restoring vitamin D levels translates into restored vitality. It's like bringing light back into a dimmed room. So if you've been living with this deep fatigue, don't ignore it. Don't simply accept it as the cost of aging or the price of stress. Ask yourself, could this be my body's way of saying, I need more sunlight, I need more balance, I need more vitamin D? A simple test can reveal the answer, and small changes, sunlight, nutrition, supplements when needed, can turn the tide. Picture that life, waking not to exhaustion but to energy, meeting challenges not with dread but with confidence, living not in fog but in clarity. That is the gift of listening to your body, of giving it what it truly needs. Restore your vitamin D, and you just might restore yourself. Energy restored. But here's the next question. Do your bones and muscles cooperate or do they protest? If fatigue whispers, now listen. When your bones and muscles speak loudly, many people shrug off aches and cramps as normal parts of aging or the result of pushing too hard at the gym. But what if those persistent signals were not just about wear and tear? What if they were the body's early alarm that something deeper is missing, something as simple and as powerful as vitamin D? Bone pain, especially in the back or joints, and muscle weakness that creeps up gradually, are among the most overlooked warning signs of deficiency. Vitamin D is essential because it acts like a gatekeeper for calcium and phosphorus, two minerals that give our bones their strength and our muscles their ability to contract and relax. Without enough vitamin D, you can drink all the milk in the world, take calcium supplements, or eat nutrient-rich foods, but your body simply can't absorb and use them properly. The result is bones that weaken from the inside out, and muscles that no longer perform with the same steadiness and strength. Doctors even have a name for this in adults: osteomalacia, a condition where bones become soft, fragile, and prone to pain or fractures. It's different from osteoporosis, which is thinning of bones over time. Osteomalacia is literally a softening, where the very foundation of your body, the skeleton you rely on, is compromised because it is starved of the vitamin that allows it to use the nutrients it needs. And the muscles tell their story too. You may notice cramps in your calves at night, stiffness in your shoulders, or weakness when you climb stairs, or even rise from a chair. These may seem like small annoyances, but they are often the body's way of begging for correction. Yale Medicine and other research institutions highlight this connection. What feels like just getting older may in fact be your body saying, "I'm missing something vital." Now visualize this with me. Your bones are like strong, upright pillars holding up the house of your body. Your muscles are like the tension cables that keep that house steady, mobile, and safe. But imagine those pillars starting to hollow, those cables starting to fray. At first, it's subtle. You can still move, still function, but over time, the cracks appear. A stumble becomes a fall. A nagging ache becomes chronic pain. A slight weakness turns into a loss of independence. That is the quiet danger of vitamin D deficiency. Here's the hopeful part: just as quickly as deficiency erodes strength, restoring vitamin D can begin to rebuild it. With sunlight exposure, the right nutrition, and when necessary, supplementation, those pillars strengthen again, the cables tighten, and the house of your body regains its resilience. Patients who correct their deficiency often describe not just reduced pain, but a sense of stability, of confidence in their movements, of ease in doing daily activities again. Think of it this way: your body is always talking to you. Pain, cramps, weakness, they're not random punishments. They're signals, invitations to look deeper. And when the answer is something as correctable as vitamin D, the solution becomes both empowering and life-giving. So the next time your back aches, your joints throb, or your muscles cramp, pause before dismissing it as just age. Ask, could this be my body asking for vitamin D? Because the truth is, restoring this one nutrient can turn discomfort into strength, fragility into resilience, and weakness into vitality. But the signs don't stop there. Look even closer at your mirror. Here, the body speaks in subtle but unmistakable signs, ones we often blame on stress, aging, or just bad luck. You brush your hair in the morning and notice more strands than usual on the comb. You wake up and see them scattered across the pillow. At first, you dismiss it. Maybe I'm shedding a little more because of the season. But as weeks pass, the thinning becomes noticeable. Or maybe you scrape your arm. Nothing serious, but days later, the wound looks almost the same, slow to close, slow to fade. These aren't always cosmetic concerns. Sometimes they are your body's quiet cry for help, a whisper that vitamin D may be missing from the foundation of your health. Vitamin D plays a surprisingly powerful role in areas many people never associate with it. It influences the health of your hair follicles, those tiny factories under the skin that produce every strand. When vitamin D levels are adequate, these follicles cycle properly. Old hairs shed, new hairs emerge. But when levels drop, the growth phase of hair shortens, and follicles can fall dormant. What you see on the outside, shedding, thinning, even patchy hair loss, isn't just a surface issue, it's a reflection of what's happening biochemically beneath the skin. University health centers and endocrinology clinics around the world point to this link. Vitamin D deficiency is strongly connected with certain forms of hair loss, including alopecia. And it doesn't stop at hair. Look at how your skin heals. Vitamin D helps regulate cell growth, repair, and immune defense. When you cut yourself or scrape a knee, the healing process depends on your cells multiplying rapidly, closing that gap, rebuilding tissue. If vitamin D is low, that process slows down. A small scratch might linger, a bruise might take longer to fade, or a surgical wound might not close as quickly as expected. Unity Point Health and other medical centers emphasize that delayed wound healing is one of the body's clearest red flags that something is off in vitamin D status. Think about what that means in your everyday life. Imagine living with a nutrient shortage that affects both how you look and how you recover. Every time you run your hand through your hair or check a healing wound, you're getting real-time feedback about what's happening inside your body. And the beauty of it is this: these signs often show up before more serious complications develop. They give you a chance to act, to intervene, to restore balance, before deficiency leads to deeper issues like weakened bones or immune dysfunction. Now imagine the opposite. Picture noticing less shedding in your brush, your hairline looking fuller, thicker. Picture a cut that closes neatly, quickly, leaving little trace. These aren't vain hopes. They're the natural result of a body being nourished properly. A body given what it has been asking for all along. Your body always listens, even when we're not paying attention. It adapts, it compensates, it works overtime to keep you functioning. But eventually, it leaves clues, little signs in your mirror, little delays in your healing. And if you choose to listen, if you choose to nourish, those same signs can reverse. This is the empowering part. Change is possible. Vitamin D can be replenished through sunlight, through foods like fatty fish, eggs, fortified dairy, or through carefully guided supplements. The difference can be felt not just in how your body looks, but in how it heals, how it renews, how it supports you. So don't dismiss the strands on your pillow, or the wound that lingers. They're not just nuisances, they're invitations to care, to restore, to rebuild. When you give your body what it truly needs, it rewards you with resilience, with vitality, with renewal. Now, what about the moods inside your head? Our minds are mirrors of our biology. When the body runs low on certain nutrients, the mind often reflects it long before blood tests confirm it. Vitamin D deficiency can cast a shadow over your inner world in ways that feel confusing and deeply discouraging. You may wake up and wonder why you feel heavy even though life around you hasn't changed. Responsibilities pile up, but motivation drains away. The people you love are there, but irritation flares easily. You go about your day with a dull sense that something is off, yet you can't quite name it. That's the hidden power of vitamin D deficiency. It doesn't only shape bones and muscles, it shapes mood, perception, and emotional resilience. Research consistently shows the link between vitamin D and the brain's chemistry, particularly serotonin, a neurotransmitter sometimes called the feel-good chemical. Serotonin influences mood, sleep, and emotional balance. Vitamin D helps regulate its production, so when your levels fall short, serotonin can falter. The result isn't just sadness, it can be mood swings, anxiety, irritability, or a subtle but persistent sense of being detached from yourself. Even in the absence of major life stressors, the brain can behave as if it's under siege. Unity Point Health, the University Health Center, and multiple global studies have observed this phenomenon. Low vitamin D is consistently associated with higher rates of depression and anxiety. Now, it's important to understand this clearly. Feeling low because of vitamin D deficiency doesn't mean you're weak or fragile. These changes are not imaginary, they are not signs of failure, they are your physiology speaking. Just as pain in your leg might signal a fracture, mood changes can be your brain signaling that it is undernourished. And the good news is this type of support is within reach. Think of the mind like a window. When vitamin D is abundant, the glass is clear, you can see the world with light, hope, and perspective. When deficiency sets in, a film of shadow spreads over the glass, you can still function, but everything feels dimmer. Relationships feel strained, small stresses feel enormous, and even joy feels muted. Correcting the deficiency doesn't erase every problem in life, but it does allow light back through the window. The same world, but brighter, clearer, more manageable. Imagine being able to laugh freely again, to feel irritation soften into patience, to find calm in situations that once overwhelmed you. That shift is not just mental discipline, it is biology restored. People who have corrected their deficiency often describe it not as a dramatic transformation but as a gentle lifting of fog, a gradual return of color where life had become gray. And the truth is, we live in a time when deficiency is common. Long winters, indoor lifestyles, cultural habits of avoiding the sun, all of these reduce our natural production of vitamin D. Many turn to therapy, exercise, or diet adjustments to feel better emotionally, and all of those matter. But sometimes, what the body is really asking for is as simple as restoring the sunlight vitamin. You are not broken, you are not failing. Your brain is simply signaling that it needs nourishment. Addressing vitamin D deficiency is not a magic cure for every emotional struggle, but it can make your heart feel lighter, your mind clear, and your resilience stronger. With your bones, your mood, your mirror checked, consider now what's happening inside your immunity system. It's not just about feeling healthy, it's about staying healthy. The body is not simply a collection of organs, it's an ecosystem that depends on balance. And at the center of this balance lies the immune system. When it's strong, we move through the world with resilience. When it's weak or misfiring, life feels like a constant battle against colds, infections, or even our own body. And one of the most overlooked nutrients that keeps this immune orchestra in tune is vitamin D. Vitamin D is not just a bone builder, it is a master regulator of immunity. It plays a pivotal role in both innate immunity, the body's first line of defense, and adaptive immunity, the system that learns and remembers how to protect us. One of its most crucial functions is activating T cells, the soldiers of your immune system. Without enough vitamin D, these soldiers may remain dormant, unresponsive to invading threats. That's why deficiency often shows up as repeated infections, the flu that won't go away, colds that cycle back again and again, or lingering respiratory issues that leave you drained. But there's another side, one that's quieter but far more unsettling. When vitamin D levels drop too low, the immune system doesn't just weaken, it can misfire. Instead of defending you, it can turn inward, mistaking your own tissues as the enemy. This is the world of autoimmune disorders. Conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, or even certain types of thyroid dysfunction are increasingly being linked to poor vitamin D status. The Times of India and the Endocrine Center have reported on this connection, highlighting how deficiency might not only leave us vulnerable to outside infections, but also open the door to self-directed immune attacks. Think of it like the thermostat in your home. If the thermostat is working, the temperature stays balanced, not too hot, not too cold. Vitamin D helps your immune system function like that thermostat, ensuring it reacts when it should, but also calms down when the job is done. Without it, the system can swing wildly, either too sluggish to fight off the flu, or too aggressive, inflaming your own tissues. Now picture this, your immune system humming with balance. Every time a virus shows up, it's met with a clear, coordinated response. No overreaction, no endless cycle of fatigue and recovery, just calm vigilance, the way the body was designed to operate. Vitamin D is one of the simplest ways to nudge the system toward that state of harmony. And here's the encouraging part. The signs are not hard to recognize. If you're someone who seems to catch everything going around, if you feel like you're always recovering from one illness, just in time for another, or if you've noticed unexplained inflammation in your joints or tissues, your body might be asking you to look deeper. These are not random events. They are messages, subtle, persistent, and hopeful, because they mean your body is still trying to speak to you before more serious conditions take root. Strengthening your immune system doesn't always start with complex treatments. Sometimes, it begins with the most fundamental building blocks of health. By restoring vitamin D, you may not only decrease the risk of those recurring colds and infections, but also support your body in calming unnecessary immune aggression. Health is not just the absence of illness, it's the quiet confidence that your body is ready for what life sends your way. Vitamin D is not the whole story, but it's a critical chapter. Imagine living with that kind of assurance, a body resilient enough to protect you, and wise enough not to turn against you. Finally, let's look at subtle shifts in metabolism, appetite, and sleep. Lastly, let's consider the rhythms of eating and sleeping, quiet clues we often dismiss but which may be whispering something important about our health. Think about how much of your life depends on these simple cycles: when you eat, how much you eat, when you fall asleep, and how deeply you rest. These are not just lifestyle habits, they are signals from the body about whether its internal systems are aligned or misaligned, and vitamin D surprisingly has a seat at this table. Vitamin D is deeply intertwined with two powerful regulators: leptin, which governs appetite, and melatonin, which orchestrates sleep. When your vitamin D levels fall short, leptin signaling can falter. That means your hunger cues might feel confusing. You could be eating more without realizing it, or perhaps not eating enough, because your brain isn't receiving the right messages from your fat and energy stores. It's why some people with low vitamin D notice stubborn weight gain, while others notice unexplained weight loss. It's not always about willpower, it's biology speaking through imbalance. Now layer on the connection to sleep. Melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest, is also influenced by vitamin D. Without enough of this nutrient, the delicate cascade that triggers restful sleep may be disrupted. You might find yourself tossing and turning, waking up multiple times, or never quite reaching that deep, restorative state. The New York Post and The Sun have both highlighted these subtle but powerful connections. Poor vitamin D levels don't just leave you tired during the day, they interfere with the very rhythm of your nights. And here's the fascinating part: when sleep and appetite drift off balance, the entire body pays the price. Poor sleep increases cravings for calorie-dense foods, which then disrupt metabolism further. It becomes a cycle. Low vitamin D disrupts sleep. Poor sleep drives poor eating. Poor eating affects weight, and weight changes alter hormone signaling even more. The Times of India has reported on this cycle, showing how seemingly small deficiencies ripple outward into every corner of daily life. But there's another way to see it. Your body is wise and it's always communicating. Waking at 2 a.m. every night, feeling hungry at odd times, or finding that your weight shifts without explanation, these are not random inconveniences. They may be your body's way of saying, "I need support." They are invitations to step closer to balance, not judgments about willpower or discipline. Imagine a different scenario. Imagine lying down at night and slipping easily into a deep, restorative sleep, waking in the morning refreshed instead of fatigued. Imagine feeling hunger at the right times, satisfied by the right amount of food, free of cravings that seem to control you. Imagine your weight stabilizing, not because of harsh diets or punishing workouts, but because your body's natural rhythms are supported and steady. This is not a fantasy, it's the way the body is designed to operate when its nutritional needs are met, vitamin D included. The encouraging part is that this shift is within reach. By restoring your vitamin D levels through mindful sun exposure, nutrient-rich foods, or supplementation when necessary, you're not just adding another vitamin to your routine, you're helping your body rediscover its natural patterns. You're giving yourself the chance to sleep peacefully, to eat with balance, and to live with energy that feels sustainable. These subtle signs, weight fluctuations, appetite changes, restless nights, might seem small, but they're worth listening to. Because when we restore the basics, everything else begins to align. Your body wants to find its rhythm. It's waiting for you to give it the support it needs. And sometimes that support begins with something as simple as restoring vitamin D. As we close, our bodies speak in whispers and half glances. Persistent fatigue, muscle and bone pain, thinning hair or slow wounds, shifting moods, frequent illness, altered sleep or appetite. Each may be a call to restore your vitamin D, and with it reclaim your wholeness. Don't wait for alarm bells. Pay attention to subtle nudges. A simple blood test, a patch of sun, D-rich foods, mindful supplementation. These small acts can ripple into energy, resilience, calm and healing. So here's my invitation. Listen, act. Illuminate your health from within. May your days be brighter, your body stronger, and your spirit lighter. Remember, sometimes the smallest vitamin can make the grandest difference.